Hello, Cassie. Hi, Jules.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Jules, looks like you're driving.
Yeah, I'm almost home.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, Cassie, how you doing?
I'm good. Just hanging out.
Yep, yep. Probably been a long day. You're probably a little bit tired, as most of us are. Yep,
We
yep.
had a lab today.
Oh, labs are fun. They keep you busy, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, um, let's see. We're still waiting on a few other people, Chris, and yeah. So we'll give just a minute. Anybody have anything exciting going on with their class? Want to share real quick? Ah, there's Chris. Let Chris in. All right, we're almost ready. Just waiting for Michael. See if he shows up. Cassie, what do you got to share with us? You always have fun stuff going on, right?
Um, I don't know. I don't think I really have anything, or I'm just being modest. I don't know. Can't think of anything.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Jules, how about
Not too
you?
not too exciting. We're working with potatoes today, learning
Potatoes.
osmosis with salt water.
Oh, there you go.
So
Yeah.
not that exciting.
How'd that lab go?
I thought it went really good. Um, it's a lot easier to understand stuff when they get their hands on it.
That's the beauty of our curriculum. You got other subjects where it's pretty whatever, they don't have the hands-on stuff. Science, we can always create and get interesting out there, right? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Um, I know Mike will be here, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I want to be respectful of your guys' time. Um, one reason I like combining the A and B interns is to share information, and we're going to start off with that right now. So let's focus on my B people, which is Cassie and Jules and Chris. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. You guys can see this, right? Okay. We don't need this thing in here. Hopefully this doesn't cancel us out. Okay. All right. Let's go to the B people, which is Cassie, Jules, and Chris. Now, the information that I'm going to ask you is definitely relatable to Brad and Michael if he comes here. So let's just talk about this a little bit. Okay. By the way, you guys, again, I gotta congratulate you guys are doing terrific in the class. Assignments are powerful. I'm enjoying going through every one of them, and um, again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the lessons you guys do, and the observations are easy for me to follow. The way you guys have positioned your cameras, that's good, and your annotations are excellent. So no complaints on my part here. Okay. Now, one thing that is always a big challenge is how do you plan instruction to reach all kids? Back in the day when I was a teacher, you didn't think about this. You taught a lesson of, you know, if the kids didn't get it, they didn't get it because, that's just the way it was. We weren't that advanced where we had to really think about reaching all kids. And especially if you got English, English is a second language in there. That presents a big challenge. I remember teaching a chemistry class, and I had a kid from Japan who spoke no English, zero English in my class. And I just taught the class just like I would everything else. And you know what he did? He would record my lecture. He would go home, he would translate the thing, put it in his terms, and study from there. And he had the highest grade in the class. Now, you talk about going above and beyond. How long would it take to translate an hour lecture? And my class wasn't the only one he was doing it in. Yeah, I same thing, Brad. I just shook my head, going, unbelievable. Um, the motivation that individuals can have is powerful, and how you tap into their motivation is really the key. It's not what you teach, it's how you teach. How do you get your kids to engage? And this is always the challenge on any level of teaching. How do you get them to engage? How do you engage them? And if you got different learning abilities, it's even more of a challenge because, I've heard teachers take the attitude that, I'm going to teach and who learns, learns, and I'm not going to worry about it because I don't have time. Well, we're not in that day and age anymore. So, Cassie, Chris, Jules, what do you guys do to ensure that all your kids are learning? And you know what? There's no judgment here. If you simply don't, I'd like to hear about it. There's no judgment here. I'm just curious because it is a challenging thing to design a lesson for all learners. It takes a lot of time. But one thing that is in common that must be in place, otherwise, there's no way this could have success. What's the one thing that has to be in place for you to reach every kid?
Classroom management.
Oh, love it, Cassie. I preach this every time, don't I? If you don't have class management, man, you got zero. You are teaching to the masses and you're screaming. But if you have great control, then you can have one group of kids on one subject, which allows you to go to another group of kids that might be struggling, give them time, right? That's the only way it can practically be done. But do you guys want to share any challenges you have with, or just maybe insights as to um, kids that are struggling? And are you aware that they are, or are you come up with any ideas on how to reach them? Do you have an aid that helps you? Share with us a little bit.
Just constantly monitoring them. It's like you have to be walking around constantly. For instance, today we did a core sample
Yep.
on layers. We're going over fossil layers, the evolution unit. That's our unit too. And I had one group that was fully advanced, but then another group wasn't. And then I had another group where half of it was advanced, but the other half wasn't advanced. So in that case, I was like, okay, let's, since you guys are done, let's help each other out while I'm trying to alternate. It's like they need me, but it's only one of me. So it's a juggle, honestly. I try to do my best as far as clear instruction, but it's just constant monitoring, just looking at what they have going on, if they're actually fully understanding. And if they don't, then I do have to. But then at the same time, it's hard because the ones that are advanced, it's like they want to continue.
Yeah.
So it makes it very difficult. But I'm constantly monitoring. That's what I have to do, checking for understanding.
Okay. Anybody else want to share what their experience, frustrations, successes, whatever?
Yeah, just to bounce off of.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, just okay. Just really quick, really, really quick. I was also thinking monitoring, but I feel like it comes back to your seating chart. So like knowing which students you want to watch, so you have them in this particular area, and then students that you don't really have to monitor as much, but they are going to get the work done. You have them somewhere else. But that's what I was going to say.
I am so glad you said that because that's so easily overlooked. And a seating chart can kill your class if it's not correct. And, Cassie, we talked about this in the first term, the seating chart. It's really vital. And I'm glad you shared that because trust is a big thing in a class. And so there's students that you can trust, and they certainly don't have to be right in the front. They could be over in a corner someplace because you don't have to worry about that. Thank you for sharing that. Who else was going to speak up? Was that you, Chris?
I was about to share. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm almost home. I got stuck on the freeway. I'll turn my camera on in just a minute. But
Okay.
as far as engagement, one thing that it's going to sound kind of silly, but it kind of took me a while to figure out is getting the kids to look at me when I'm talking, or if I'm demonstrating something at the board. They shouldn't be writing in their notebooks. I'm going to wait for them to finish writing down whatever they're writing, or I will call their attention. I'll make sure that they're looking at me.
Love it.
When their eyes are on me, I know that they're listening. And
Love
that
it.
has been such a huge improvement compared to the past few years where I'd be talking and I'm assuming that they're writing down what I'm saying because they're looking at their notebooks, but that's almost never the case. They're
Yes.
focused on what they're writing and not listening to a word that's coming out of my mouth. So that's been huge.
Yeah, Chris, I'm so glad you guys are coming up with some real nuggets. That is huge. That is huge because you're right. If they're not looking at you, they're probably not listening. Imagine this. Imagine you were talking to me, Chris, and I turned my head. Right? First of all, it's rude. And second of all, you have
Exactly.
no idea that I'm paying attention to you. That is a huge nugget. Make sure they're watching you. Okay. So Cassie, seating chart, Jules, monitor them. Chris, eye contact. I'm waiting for one more.
Oh, is that me?
Well, whoever.
Um,
There's one really I haven't heard yet. That's all I'm saying.
okay. So for English learners, I have like a very heavy like Hispanic demographic, so I have lots of English learners, and I forget the levels like 1 through 4 that until they like what is it? Like they take a test called the LPAC. Is that
Uh-huh.
familiar to anyone?
I've
And
heard.
so I pair like the English learners that are still in like those classes with the people who speak Spanish, and so they can help translate throughout the period. Because I also have like people like I have a student, he moved from Mexico here, and kind of like your student, he doesn't know any English.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I'm like, if I have a worksheet or something, I'm having ChatGPT make a Spanish version of it, give it to him, and then I pair him with a Spanish speaker. Um, but it's definitely a struggle.
Yeah. 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 Um, I love that. I love that for a variety of reasons because that is a struggle. And it could be one thing to just, you know, figure that's the cost of being in a big class, or how well do you really address it? Great teachers will address every aspect of it. And again, these are huge nuggets, huge nuggets. Okay, I won't wait around for any suspense. One thing I'm not seeing enough of is calling them by name. And maybe I'm missing it. But think about this: if you're having a conversation with someone, and wherever around town, I'm not talking a school setting, but just a conversation. If that person never mentions your name, um, that there's a little detachment there. But whenever your name is mentioned in a conversation, number one is it shows sincerity on their part that they truly they're addressing you. Brad, you know, Cassie, say their names because that connects them, that draws them to you. If anyone says their name, that's their attention. If you're out in the on in the hallways and you called someone by their name, they're gonna, oh, who's calling my name? That's huge. So if you want to deepen the connection, call them by names, learn their names. It takes work, no doubt. It takes work, but it verifies that they exist. So if you want them to listen to you, that's one way to do it as well. So that's my little nugget. So we got the seating chart nugget. Okay, we got the monitor nugget, right? Um, and we have okay. What of our okay? I want you guys to write these down. What are the nuggets? Okay, Cassie, your nugget was
Seating chart.
okay. Cassie has the seating chart. Write that down.
Then
What was your nugget?
monitoring.
Monitor. Okay. Chris, what was your nugget?
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Brad, what was your nugget?
I don't know if I have a one word nugget. I guess
Yeah, that's
pairing
pairing.
with yeah, pairing.
Yeah. So basically you're getting them with people that will bring them to a higher level, right? Now, since you're on that, I'm glad that you brought that up because there is what can work against that. Say putting kids in groups where they have someone there who's really with it. And maybe let's imagine there's a group of three, and one person is really with it, and the other two are maybe not so much. Obviously, the person who's really with it, if they can teach those kids, they really know the subject. But what's the negative part about that? Any idea? What can happen that's negative on that?
They're going to take over the whole thing, and the other two are going to do absolutely nothing.
You nailed it. Perfect. That's human nature. I'm just going to copy. And the other person is so much work to get these guys doing it. I'm just going to do it. Let them copy. So you got to be careful of that because that happens all the time. Okay. So these are terrific nuggets. So let's go back to my little screen here. Okay. So that's how you get all students involved. Those are nuggets that will really be game changers with you. Okay. Now, I just want to spend a moment on assessing. And here's one thing I want to put in your mind. Is your assessing valuable in the moment, or is it simply a scoreboard for later? Scoreboard for later means, my grade was this, I'm moving on. Or assessing in the moment, okay, I can make this change, whether you're the teacher or the student, because one of us is not getting it, and we can make a change right now. So, with that said, obviously a scoreboard is easy. You give the test, boom, boom, post the results, move on. Assessing for now, that can tell you whether your lesson is going as you planned or not. For example, what if you're teaching a lesson and they're all looking at you and writing things down? So there's the impression that there's learning going on. But maybe there's not. Maybe they're doodling. Maybe they're drawing a picture. Maybe they have no idea what you're saying. Maybe they tuned out. So how can you assess to see, should I continue with this lesson the way it is? Or maybe I need to repeat things or go over things. How can you determine that?
What
Nice to see you.
I've been doing lately, oh,
Uh-huh.
sorry.
No, go ahead, Chris. I was
Lately,
just going to say, Chris has his camera on, so good to see you, Chris.
hey, Chris. Lately, I have actually, before I move on, I call on students to see if they can repeat back what I just said.
Yes.
And so that tells me, okay, we can move on, or okay, a few of you guys don't get it, let's talk about it again.
Yeah, perfect. That's a big nugget. And just ask them to repeat. It's very simple. And if they don't repeat it very well, that's okay. Obviously it's not sinking in. So let's just, this is what I said, or give them a little bit, guided practice. So that's a good thing. Okay. What's another thing you can do to assess in the moment?
The thumbs up, one side, thumbs down.
There you go. They can tell you. Okay. Another good nugget. I hope you guys are writing these down because these are powerful. What's another one? Well, let me just say this. Or as the whole picture, we call this checking for understanding, right? So I see you guys checking for understanding, but are you checking a box to say you check for understanding, or are you really getting information from them when you check for understanding?
I think so far it's kind of checking a box. I would really love it if I could figure out if I could get like meaningful checking for understanding. I think it's something that I'm currently working towards, but I don't feel like I do it successfully.
Thank you for sharing, Chris. I really appreciate that. One thing that I think might suggest is ask yourself, what is the key thing I want them to learn in this lesson? Okay, not 5, 10 things. What are 2 things I really want them to understand this? And then once you determine those, then you can ask that question. And that's your reference point. Keep it simple. They don't have to know everything, but realize forward momentum builds on itself, no matter how little it is. So if you have 1 or 2 major things that you would really be happy if they were understanding, ask about those directly by name, hold them accountable. And if they don't get it, that's okay. Make it total positive that I understand you're trying, and give them some guided, or phone a friend, right? That old analogy. So those are things that you can do that will deepen your TPE5 assessment.
Thank you. That sounds good. I'll definitely. I think that it's one of those things that I feel like it should be common sense. It should be obvious, but I still struggle with it anyway.
Yeah, teaching is a lot of common sense. I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris, because if you take yourself out of the robot and just think common sense, if you were working with a friend on something, I think you would have a different viewpoint as opposed to working with a student. Okay, because we're the teacher, we have to do it right. Common sense, perfect. Be yourself. That's what great teachers, that's one characteristic they have. They're relatable, and a lot of it's just common sense. And with that said, that's going to lead you into becoming a better teacher, which is TPE 6. Because if you take the time to understand what's really important about what you're teaching, okay, that's all about TPE 6. So take common sense to these TPEs, because that's what they really are. It's just breaking down your ability to relate to a kid and get them to relate to you. Okay, so that's what I wanted to hit on today, mostly. Okay. Now, I planned about 45 minutes on this today, and we're about halfway through, almost. So I do want to ask my Chris, Jules, Cassie group, do you have any questions on the IDP? Have you started it?
I'm going to be honest, I have not started it.
Okay, and then that's fine, because we have till the end of December, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of time. Do you remember that we went over it?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. And do you remember how to get to it?
Yes.
Okay. And Brad, you're going to be doing this, so it's good for your ears on this. Yeah, it's easy to get to. um, is it repetitive or not? Extremely repetitive, right? You're doing the same thing. Do you recall that conversation? Yes, no? A
Yes.
little bit? It is basically what you're doing is you're going through the 6 TPEs, and you're determining which one are you strongest at and simply acknowledging it. And then you're determining which ones you would like to get better at, and tell me from your heart, this is what matters, right? That's what teaching is all about, is your heart. Tell me in terms of your heart, why it's important for you to get better at this particular one. So you do it for TPE 1, 2, 3. That's where the repetitive comes in. It's the same format. Reflection, what am I strongest at? Note it. Don't have to do much more than that. Where do I want to get better? This is where I'm going to take a little bit of time and reflect on why I want to get better, and how the one thing that's really important, what difference would it make in your teaching if you did get better at that? And this is going to make you a better teacher. And if you go through your day with the same thought when you relate to your students, you're going to become one of those great teachers that has the innate ability to look a student at the eye and at their eyes and know what's ticking in their head and how to reach them. That's what great teachers do, and those are the best parts, because these are things you'll never forget, and they will never forget when they come back to you 10 years later and says, "Oh my God, you did this and it changed my life." That's going to happen all the time. Whether they tell you that or not, that may not occur, but it does happen all the time. Great teachers have that ability, and you guys all have that potential. I see it in every one of you. because of the way your excitement is when you teach, the way you address the class, um, just the passion that I see that each of you have as to become a great teacher. So that's the whole point of my class, is to how to unlock and unleash that power that you guys have, which is incredible, and it will change lives. That's pretty special, knowing you could change someone's life. Okay. All right. 650B people. Okay. If you have any questions on that IDP, what's going to happen next is our next PLC meeting will not be a PLC meeting, and it will just be one-on-one, you and me. Cassie, you and me. Jules, you and me. Chris, you and me. And we will go over your IDP, and it will be done, but it can be edited as we go. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. So you guys are going to schedule that with me in December. You just tell me when. I'd look at your calendar now and put the date out there. That's how you commit to things. Okay, so I would say that probably that last 2 weeks, sometime in there, send me a text. Can we meet on this time? And generally, this time of the day is perfect. Okay, and we'll lock it in, and that will be our final PLC meeting. Okay. Man, can you believe we're almost at Christmas break? Now, one last thing before I excuse my 650B, Cassie, Jules, and Chris, do you guys have a job lined up for when you're done? Cassie, you do? It's lined up?
Yes, I do.
Share that.
Mhm.
Share that with us real quick.
Well, I'm actually at my middle school that I attended, and I
You
started as a
attended.
long-term. Yeah, I went there. I have my yearbook and I show my students the yearbook.
Oh, I bet they just love that. Oh my
Oh,
God.
they
Look at
love
Miss
it.
Cardenas.
Yeah, they
Oh
go
my God.
crazy.
Okay, so you're gonna continue on where you're at now, and are you gonna be hired full time
Mhm.
as either
Yeah,
long-term sub or a permanent position?
permanent position. I was there as a long-term sub for a year and then 2 years on 1 year on a PIP, another year on a STIP, and now I'm on my fourth year. But I always count my long-term subbing as a year because
Yeah.
I was there. I was grading.
Okay.
It
All right.
counts.
That's wonderful. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. Um, gosh, I just realized that we just set a standard that's really high right now because you have a job. And Jules and Chris, I don't want you to feel bad if you don't. Like, oh my God, she's all lined up, and I've done zero. But hopefully that's not the case. Um, normally the way things go is teachers get hired at the end of summer, so you're way ahead of the game. If you got employment for spring semester, you're so far ahead of the game. Jules, how about you? Are you going to have a job coming up in the next year?
If I have to pass my CalTPA.
Okay. Is that the
So
only thing stopping you?
pretty much, I mean, you get pink slipped if you don't pass, if I don't pass my CalTPA. Pretty much I have an intern credential until August of the next school year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like on a time crunch right now.
Okay.
My goal
Okay.
is to submit my second CalTPA on the next submission, which is November 20th. To receive my results December 11th, so I can start my induction in January. Technically, I do have a contract with Madera Unified.
Oh, nice. Okay. Beautiful.
Mhm. Yes.
Beautiful. I'm not surprised. Chris, how about you? What's the future look like for you?
So, kind of like Cassie, I've been teaching. 2 years ago on a STIP, um, and then last year I was teaching on an intern credential. This year I'm also teaching on an intern credential. So I do have a contract with the district, and they'll offer me another teaching job. But once I get my preliminary credential, I can actually make like some decent money. So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that's nice. One thing that is different with you guys compared to when I was teaching, the way everything's set up with national and, you know, everything that you're doing, the internship program, it naturally leads to a job. So that I'm not surprised. That's really good. And so it's almost to the point where you can pick your job where you want to teach. Okay. I'm proud of you guys. That's awesome. Now, you guys can't leave yet because one thing you have to do before I talk with Brad here is you need to go to this clinical practice survey and complete it. And don't sign off. Okay. You can sit there and turn the sound down so you don't have to listen to Brad and I if you want. But if you're able to finish it, sign back on and say done, or oh my gosh, this is going to take longer. I won't be able to do it right now, but I think it's something you could do over in just a few minutes. So just get that done real quick. And Brad, let's chat a little bit, okay? Yeah. By the way, do you guys, Cassie, Jules, and Chris, have any questions for me before we leave? You know, to set that appointment. So I expect a text or an email with a date within 7 days to set that appointment for the last couple weeks of December. Okay. All right, Brad, let's finish this up. This won't take long here. Okay. So what we want to do is this, because one thing that you're going to do is um, you're going to do a self-evaluation on your observation. Okay. And I don't know if you notice when I grade your observations. Let's go to a example here. Okay. Let's go to your observation right here. Nothing like an example to show you. Okay. Oh, that's lesson plan. Sorry. Um, when you do your video and you annotate it. Oh, go away. Sorry about that. Okay. It's coming up. Okay. So here we go, right? You did two of them, which is fine. Okay, you did your annotation through here, right? Okay. Um, I made some comments. A little more detail is the only thing I would recommend on here, which tells me a little bit about how you feel it's going. I'm gonna mute this.
All right, so Michelle will be working on our warm up.
Okay, it's one thing to state what's going on, but I would love to hear how it's going. Okay, you in your heart. What you, for example, you said here after a quick blurb on biosignatures, basically you told me what you're doing, but you really didn't tell me how it was going. I love to hear those things, and I think that's really important. Okay, so I would add that, but that's not my point here. My point is this: when I go to your, I believe it's this, I think it's this thing. Taking a moment to load up there. Okay, right here. Oops, I had it here and it went away. Okay. Again, okay. This is the TPEs, and I go through here each TPE and I read it and I evaluate. We talked about this, right? Does this look familiar? I'm
Yeah.
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 I'm evaluating what I see. And if I put a zero, it doesn't mean it just means it wasn't there. And that's nothing's negative about these scores. That just means you didn't do it. And there's no way you can do every TPE in a lesson. It's just impossible. So on this one, I felt that it was something that was just emerging. Okay. And believe me, as you get down to 650B, you know, these scores will move over. But basically, I'm evaluating each TPE related to what I saw. And one thing that helps me is in your annotation, you're telling me a little bit more about a little more depth about what you did instead of just saying I did this. And that's what I referred to a moment ago. If you tell me a little bit about what's going on in your mind about not just tell me what's going on, but how it's going. Okay, that will mean that I can see a little bit more and I can give you more of applying, integrating, developing. Okay, so this is what I do. Now you're going to do this on observations 3 and 5. So let's go back to those. Oops, wrong one. Okay. So what you are going to do, let me get in here. Okay. So when you do observation 3 and 5, you're going to go through and click those things. You're going to evaluate yourself on each TPE, just like I did. Okay. Now there are directions, so make sure you go over this. So if you click on this, it's going to tell you how you should rate yourself. And these are not grades. Okay. So make sure that doesn't enter your head when you do a self-evaluation. Okay. So these are the directions when you do this. So it's for observations 3 and 5, you're going to rate yourself. And make sure you go through all this. So basically, for each of the 6 TPEs, you're going to give yourself a score, just like I did, between 0 and 4. Okay. And this is what I want you to keep in mind, and this is going to help you when you do your annotation. Okay. So when you do your annotation, I want you to think a little bit more in depth now, as we're getting more advanced, how you're doing each one of these. Are you connecting prior knowledge? So in your annotation, if you're telling me just simply what you did, I really won't know whether you're connecting anything. But if you tell me in your annotation, then I will. What are some of the instructional strategies you might have done? So again, it's telling me one thing. We did a lab on hydrogen fusion, whatever. Okay. That doesn't tell me whether you did any modeling, think, pair, share. This will come in your annotation. On problem solving, okay, critical thinking. Are you doing any of this when you teach it? And if you are, you're going to tell me in your annotation. So this is a new level of annotations. Do you see what I'm trying to get to you? It's not just
Yes.
stating what you did, it's really telling me a little bit more. Okay.
I'm done with the survey.
How did it go, Cassie?
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I appreciate that. Did it go easy?
Oh yeah, easy peasy.
Okay,
All
good,
good.
good. I want to make sure it was. Okay, you're good. You're free to go, dear.
It's the clinical practice survey, correct?
Yes, clinical practice survey.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so again on TP2, so make sure you look over this a couple of times because there's no way that you'll go through this and absorb it all. And even if you don't absorb it all, that's okay. But if you can get stronger on one TPE, and then maybe the next observation, you'll have that strength. And so now you're going to tackle another one. So take it in little chunks. Instead of trying to be a master of everything at the beginning, maybe be a master of one of these TPEs. And then the next time, you'll continue that mastery of one of them. And now you're going to try to become really good at another one. And then you're going to reflect these in your annotation. And then when you do your little checking the boxes, you'll have a little bit more of an idea of what does it really mean to not have seen it, integrating it, and so on, the different levels there.
I finished my survey as well.
Oh, okay. Did it go okay, Chris?
Yeah, it went great. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Okay, you're free to go. Have a good
All
one.
right, you have a great rest of your day, Professor.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Any questions, Brad, on this?
No. So I guess you need more details of what's happening, but also you want my thoughts, my personal thoughts,
Oh, yeah.
like
And
if I thought it went well, Just
And
anything like
what you
that.
can do, and I would print this out.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing a TP, if you're stating on one of your annotations that you did TP1 because you, what you were doing applied to this, then in your annotation, you can get laser focused by saying, we not only did this activity, but I modeled it for them. And then I had them think, pair, share. That's If you wrote that in your annotation, can you imagine how much better I understand what you did?
Yes. Also, because I saw your comments on my last running record, TPE running record. Are you want that level there too?
I mean, yes and no. I think if you're going to get in your annotation, obviously it deepens your understanding of the TPE if you can do this. I don't want to overwhelm you. Um, the annotation, put the priority on that. And then you can certainly copy and paste that into your running record if you'd like. So you're not having to rethink it again. So I would say the running record could be a copy and paste type of thing for depth. But when you're writing your annotation, it's coming out of your head. Looking at this. So when you write an annotation that's reflecting TPE3, include in there things that are part of this thing that shows the evidence that you actually did it. So remember, these are ways to present the evidence that you actually are doing this in TPE3. So it goes way beyond simply stating what you did. Okay.
Okay.
That's where we really go deep on this. And I don't expect this to be a miracle in this observation coming up. Okay. But I do expect to see a little more of it. And then on the next one, even more. And by the time you're in 650B, it's just natural to you.
Got
Make
it.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the main thing. Let's go back here, make sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah. Okay. And we spent a lot of time on 3 and 4 here earlier, but the main thing is definitely number 1 here. I wanted to make sure that you understood what I'm looking for. And I grade on improvement and I grade on intent, and these are not letter grades. Okay.
Got it. Understood.
Awesome, Brad. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. There's a lot of becoming a teacher is hard. There's a lot expected.
Well, you're impacting kids, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to screw it up.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay. I'm done as well.
Thanks, Jules. I'm glad. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate that.
Thank you. You have a nice evening.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, Brad, if you don't have any more questions, we're done. We're right at 44 minutes. So
we meet in December.
yeah, we will meet.
Okay.
The 650B is an individual, but for you and Michael, it'll be another PLC meeting on the first Thursday at 4:30.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Have a good day.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.